The Woodhead Route opened in 1845, built by the Sheffield, Ashton-under-Lyne and Manchester Railway, with Joseph Locke as its engineer. Just 2 years later, the railway merged with the Sheffield and Lincolnshire Junction Railway, the Great Grimsby and Sheffield Junction Railway and the Grimsby Docks Company to form the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway, later to be known as the Great Central Railway in 1897, passing to LNER in 1923 and the British Railways Eastern Region in 1948. The full route when open was 41.5 miles in length, 66.8 kilometres, with numerous stations along the route, with terminuses being at Sheffield Victoria Railway Station. This opened in September 1851 but closed by the 5th of January 1970. And at the other end, Manchester-London Road between 1845 and 1960, and Manchester Piccadilly for the final 10 years of passenger operation 1960 to 1970. In this video and Old Railway Walk, I'm going to be concentrating on the section between Woodhead down towards Hadfield where the line is still in operation. And I'll be picking up right where the 3 railway tunnels are, the original 2 Victorian tunnels known by train crew as the Hellholes, and also the more modern, up-to-date 3rd bore. The tunnel had a completely wasted life in my opinion, as well as many others. The 3rd Woodhead Tunnel, which closed with the railway line in 1981. I'll then take a short look at Woodhead Railway Station. That seems to be a little bit in the middle of nowhere. I have to wonder how busy that would have been at one time, and follow the route along Woodhead Reservoir all the way down to Crowden, where there used to be another railway station. I don't believe there's much of trace of this one, but we'll take a look at some old images before carrying on towards Torside Reservoir, where there used to be a fantastic level crossing there. I've got some brilliant footage and photos to show you of Torside, and then eventually following the further reservoirs down before we get to Hadfield Station, which is now the end of the line, where you can pick up a train and take your journey towards places like Glossop and Guidebridge and Manchester. So let's jump down to where we pick up our journey and head off to find these Woodhead Tunnels. Right, that's a long way down, look at that. Some roadworks going on there, and the A628 and Woodhead Pass. Our track bed is just there, and the tunnel mouths are just there, and the old station site is also just there. So we're going to wind away down here, which typically is a bit twisty, so down there I imagine, and I think the path is down there. I'm going to safely get across this road and I'll also see you down there. An image from 1953 shows the 2 original tunnels, 1 and 2, in action with a steam locomotive coming out of the second centre tunnel. Work is progressing well on the 3rd tunnel though, must be nearing completion as the date of this picture is 1953. We can jump inside and have a look what it was like during the construction. Look, this is dated 1952, as is this one showing the portal out to Woodhead. Very close to finishing, isn't it, this one? And here it is, look, the opening ceremony. How fantastic is that? The 3rd of June 1954. Another angle from further away. Look, we've got a train waiting at Woodhead Station. Pristine locomotive and carriages are waiting to proceed through the tunnels on towards Sheffield. Now, incidentally, Woodhead 3, the larger tunnel, the more modern one, that was opened in 1953, within a few months of 100 years since Woodhead 2. The centre tunnel was actually completed back in 1853. And as both of the original tunnels were too narrow to allow for electrification, it was decided to construct this third tunnel in the 1950s. And it's unbelievable to imagine that this tunnel only had a lifespan of 28 years. So 1837 work began on Tunnel 1 and it was opened by 1845. The second one being opened by 1853. And they're a right cute little pair, aren't they? Look at this. If you happen to be slim enough, that looks like a way in. Oh, it's freezing cold. Let's get the death ray in and have a look. Sadly, it's just a pipe culvert, look. The two original bores, Tunnel 1 and Tunnel 2, they were known by train crew as the hell holes. Absolutely tragic to work through due to being so narrow, and the fumes and the close proximity of the tunnel walls were just apparently appalling and trapping fumes and steam. These parallel Transpennine 3-mile long tunnels, number 1, work commenced on this in 1837 and it was opened by 1845. Now, I've been told that this tunnel is in dire condition. It has collapsed in at least one location and it is impassable and extremely dangerous. I believe the second one, which was completed in 1853, that is in a pretty poor state too, but not quite as bad, with no collapses reporting. You got to imagine there was estimated 250 trains per day in either direction. So it was decided to construct this third tunnel in the 1950s. Now a little look at this map from the early 1900s. You've got the River Evero going from the left down to the bottom right, passing below the railway lines. You can see the track is at least 4 wide with multiple point sections in there. But where it disappears, where the tunnel portals are, just where it says the Crown Inn, they are right below that. Look, you can see the tracks going into it. Below that you can see where it says Quarry. Just above the queuing quarry is where the newer portal, the third tunnel portal, would be. So if we jump to this later map, you can see the portal appears. The track bed and the new station site is right there, look, and you can see the full width of all 3 tunnels. Now the third tunnel, that was open in 1953, constructed for the purpose of electrification, but as most of you know, only lasted until 1981. It's got to be one of the most shortest lived tunnels in the history of mainline railways, hasn't it? Such a waste. Immediately as the workings would have thrust their way out of those tunnels, you'd got Woodhead Station, and we've still got a nice remainder of a platform still in situ. It's brilliant, isn't it? Nice tiny reminder of what was once here, and I kind of wish I'd had the opportunity to have a ride down here. I was born just before the line shut, unfortunately, so I was around when the line was open. It makes me feel kind of old. Let's say goodbye to the tunnels, because they're a bunch we're unlikely to ever get in. I think that's going to be near enough impossible. There's the other platform, look, heading towards Hadfield and Glossop. Absolutely remarkable that these are here, and I'm so pleased they are. Woodhead Station was opened on the 8th of April 1844, but it was to be the first of 2 stations on the site due to a new station being opened in 1953, in conjunction with the opening of the new Woodhead Tunnel 3 and the electrification of the railway line. However, the station was closed on the 27th of July 1964, but the line continued to operate with passenger trains until 1970. This must have been a very desolate and quiet location for a railway station due to being in such a remote location. I expect winters were pretty rough as well. So next up is Woodhead Reservoir, and that was built a very long time ago. Just away from the station site is that a foundation to what was once a signal, maybe. Concrete foundation block there. Could have been. The tunnels and station are just out of sight behind those trees. Upon leaving the station and tunnels behind, I'm about 5 or 6 minutes walk away. It's quite a gradient uphill. There's no sign of Woodhead Reservoir yet. That's going to be over there somewhere. But yeah, I can feel it under my feet. It's quite steep. So there must have been quite a bit of power needed to get these workings along this route back in the day. Some other kind of foundations there, look. So we've got probably one line there, and that looks like the width of 2 lines there. Something was here, look. Something concrete, some foundations. Got quite a drop down our right hand side now, so we're clearly approaching the beginning of the Woodhead Reservoir. So there's our first glimpse of the reservoir, look, just behind that pylon. And it was constructed by a guy called John Frederick Bateman between 1847 and June 1877. So look at that, 30 years. And it was part of what is known as the Longdendale chain, and it supplies water to the urban areas of Greater Manchester, and it's at the top of the chain of reservoirs. It's got a surface area of 135 acres, and its maximum depth can be up to 22 metres. Not sure I'm going to be able to get the drone up. We'll give it a go. It's these pylons, and I've seen quite a few planes going overhead as well. Look at the 2 different levels of track bed here, look how it separates. And you've got that like retaining wall on that side, and the other track bed slightly lower down on the left. That's the view back looking towards Woodhead Tunnels and Station. Next stop is Crowden Station. Just imagine being on a train coming down here, and this was the view that greeted you. It's such a loss, isn't it? Look back there. Even as a driver, a train crew, it must have been absolutely amazing. So the second reservoir is Torside. That is up here around the corner. Average depth of 26 metres. Let's go find it. So this was the site of Crowden Station, and it served the little hamlet of Crowden between 1851 and 1957. Not a bad view to have, is it, whilst waiting for your train to arrive. Absolutely beautiful surroundings. And this is where Woodhead Reservoir also ends, and the other side of the grassed embankment over there would be Torside Reservoir. So not really a trace of the former station here, no platform remains as such. There's a little bit of something just here, look, some railings and some stonework, some kind of stone wall, so that would have been something to do with the station, wouldn't it? That was probably a station building up there, do you think? It's a nice retaining wall there, look, with blue brick. And this fine image by Nigel Nicholson shows a train going past that retaining wall that we've just briefly been looking at. That's fantastic. Crowden Station opened on the 1st of July 1861, lasting until the 4th of February 1957. Initially, a local mill owner, Mr. Brown, donated £50 towards the cost of providing a station at Crowden, with plans being drawn up in 1857, and the cost of the station estimated to be the sum of £400, but the railway deemed this amount too much and they did not go ahead with the plan, nor did they return the £50 donation. When Brown complained in 1860 about the loss, the plan was revived and the station was built, and George Benton of Glossop was contracted for the building work. So back down on track bed level again, because that was, of course, it would have been a bridge just there, and it was filled in, taken away, filled in. It's going to be a job getting the drone up now, it really is, because those pylons are directly above the reservoir. So our route is now taking us between these trees, so hopefully a little bit of respite every now and then from the sun. So this little body of water, I mean, would this stone foundation have had something to do with the railway? The water comes out of there is a really old piece of a stone causeway over there. Nice little stone bridge just here, look. And there's the other side. I'm not going near it myself, but I'll poke the camera over the edge. Something down there, isn't there? Bit noisy. So yeah, pretty cool bridge. Track bed rather wide as well, which depicts it was probably wider than double track at this point too. It's nice and shady down here too. Surprised I haven't seen more people. It's part of that Transpennine Trail, so I thought there might be a lot of walkers or cyclists about. And there's a drainage channel following us on the left hand side, look. So we're on the track bed which would have took us towards Woodhead, wouldn't it? Excuse the pun there. And the other track beds are over there where the trees now rule. That was nice, wasn't it? Nice bit of water back there. I really wanted to get into it. Currently, let me read that. That's how warm it is right now. So, actual body temperature is probably somewhere in the region of 6,000 Celsius. Oh, all that water down there and then reservoirs. Maybe it's time to take up wild swimming instead. Another bridge abutment and wall there, look. Can't really make one out on the opposite side. I'm assuming it's going to be farm access down to the road, isn't it? Yeah, it will be. Hey, it's opening up again now, look. Some stunning hillside views over there. And there's the Torside Reservoir just over there.
That's just a gorgeous view, isn't it? Absolutely astounding. So the route for the last half mile has taken quite a curve. It's been taking itself around Torside Reservoir, and it continues to do so as we head towards Hadfield, which is about an hour's walk away. Torside Reservoir is the other side of the embankment, then down a bit of a drop. So yeah, about an hour away from Hadfield. Still can't get the drone up, too many wires, and we've even had a low-flying helicopter a few minutes ago going over. It's beautiful enough down here. If I can get it up, you know I will.
This beautiful photograph at Torside by Les Nixon in March 1981 is the final loco working. How brilliant is that this was captured, and just look at that fine landscape and snow on the hills behind. And now on to Torside Crossing, where the B6105 crossed over the Woodhead Railway line, pretty much where Torside Reservoir ends and Rosewood Reservoir begins. Torside Level Crossing also had its very own Great Central Railway designed signal box, and it was fitted with 34 levers, although the lever frame was reduced to 30 levers at some time, and then the signal box eventually closed on the 20th of July 1981 along with the line between Hadfield and Penistone, and was demolished in the first week of March 1984.
So we just crossed what is the B6105, and there would have been a crossing there, and we're also coming up to the end of Torside Reservoir. You can just see the wall there, the damn wall up in the centre of shot. Water level quite low, as you'd expect this time of year. It is late July after all. It has been much lower in previous years though, especially that summer of 2018 where it didn't rain for about 7 weeks and it was really warm and hot at times too. About 50 minutes away from Hadfield now.
Leaving Torside Crossing, it's lovely to see that this was a fine location for photographers and anyone interested in this railway line. Such a smashing location, but now we turn to the sad sights of trains coming in to take away and remove the infrastructure. Sad times between 1981 and 86 when all the track work and all the overhead gantries were eventually removed. As you can see, there's none in these shots of the Class 31 coming over to pass over Torside Level Crossing. Sad times, but fantastic that these moments have been captured.
So the next reservoir along, the third one, that is Rosewood Reservoir. It's got a maximum depth of 21 metres and that is around about 500 million imperial gallons. And no, I wasn't reading that last bit, honestly. No, I wasn't. We have just passed over an underpass for the old railway as well. It's called Old House Tunnel. Brick foundations and, you know, stonework walls and above. Couldn't get to it. It's supremely overgrown. Very unfortunate. I'll try and find you a picture of it and pop it on afterwards. I mean, the route in its entirety is there. I think there's only Crowden back there. There was the bridge missing and there was a crossing missing shortly afterwards. But they're not exactly monumental jobs, are they? And there's a view of Rosewood Reservoir there. Look, it's a lot smaller than the first two. I still can't get the drone up. It won't actually let me now. Must be in some kind of airspace. I bet that's a nice walk up there. Really high up. Probably not today. I bet it's some brilliant views. One to come back for maybe. See, I can see an aeroplane over there. You won't be able to pick it up on there, but it is pretty close. So that is going to be one of the reasons why the drone won't fly here. Another good thing since leaving Crowden a couple of miles ago, as well as the track bed, has been on a gradual descent, which has made it a little bit easier. This walk is roughly about 11 miles long today. And that is quite a long distance, is this kind of heat. Just constant, especially at the pace I walk. 11 miles and we've been as high as 27 degrees. Whew. I tell you what, I've earned a medal after this one. If you guys ain't got any medals, then you can buy me a coffee or even a beer down below, link in the description down below, or even become a channel member and buy regular beers. Choice is yours. Oh god, so appreciated right now. Ice cold beer. Just look at that view. That's the next reservoir. That's Vale House. Looks like it's at about 3/4 capacity. And there's the third reservoir there, Rosewood. Vale House is a lot smaller, only covering 63 acres, and its maximum depth 12 metres, so that's roughly half of the others really, isn't it? It's a nice shaded bit. We're curving round to the right again. We're about 35 minutes now from Hadfield station. That's the view behind, back towards Sheffield and Woodhead. Is that an old fish plate buried in there? Looks like one, doesn't it? Nice bit of stone cutting as well, look, just above that. What we just found in the track bed there. Okay, that's the view going forward. But look here, we've actually got an overbridge. I was just wondering if we was actually going to see one. Yes, we will. That's really nice, isn't it? Must be farm access maybe going across the top. Oh, beautiful. So that's Bottom's Reservoir, covering 50 acres and a little bit deeper than the previous reservoir, with a maximum depth of 15 metres. Just had a jumbo jet going over. It did allow me to put the drone up, as you've just seen, but only to a low level. We're about 15 minutes from Hadfield now. Look at that. That's Hadfield main road up there. I can hear traffic going over it. Let me get past these puddles and I'll show you behind. There we go. Look at that. I like that.
And I do believe, looking at this photograph, you can see a bridge in the top right hand corner. This is the bridge that we've just been looking at and we've just passed under, with a track removal engineering train heading towards Hadfield, passing under this bridge before it does so. Hadfield is now the eastern terminus for local trains from Manchester Piccadilly. From 1954 and 1984, the station was served by electrical multiple units on the non-standard 1500 volt DC electrical system. In December 1984, the line was converted to the standard 25,000 AC system and the units were replaced. Now, it's such a shame that the entire line could not have been converted. That would have been an absolute benefit to the area. The station opened on the 7th of August 1844, consists of a single platform and now still carries around about 250,000 passengers a year. So beyond Hadfield, our railway line, our Woodhead route, passes on towards Dinton, Broadbottom, Hattersley, Godley and further on towards Manchester Piccadilly. Thank you very much for watching this video and joining me along this route and rediscovering what this line looks like today, but what it used to look like too. How fond the memories must be for many that rode this line or saw this line in operation. It's beautiful. I personally don't think we're ever going to see this open again, but we can enjoy it for what it is and take those memories of the individuals that were fortunate enough to take the photographs and film that video footage. So thank you very much to all of those. Thank you very much for watching. You can follow me on all the social medias popping up below. Look forward to seeing you on there, especially Facebook, where most of the updates and pictorial information is added daily. See you in the next one. Bye for now.